Stop hiring other detailers for your detailing company. 90% of you are about to make a fatal mistake. If you had a better hiring, training, recruiting, onboarding, and management and leadership process in your detailing company, you'd be able to hire people with way more accuracy that actually stick, take care of your business, and do a good job. It's not that there's a shortage of good people out there. It's that you fail to keep a system that actually brings in the right people, keeps out the wrong people, and retains them. In this video, I'm gonna break down the full A to Z process I use to hire people internally for my service business, and the same process I coach and train people on when I'm helping them grow their mobile detailing company from 1 unit to 5 units in as little as a few months. For those of you that don't know, my name is Rayan. I run Rocket Detailer. We are a 7-figure marketing agency and coaching program for car detailers. I've helped over 250 car detailers scale past $10,000 a month. And I make these videos so I can pass on the knowledge I've learned from that to you. So there are 4 key steps you need to have when hiring another detailer. So number 1 is your recruiting process. Your recruiting process is everything you do to get people to look at your job post, get them to apply, and do the interview process. That's your recruiting process. You want to post everywhere as humanly possible. Post on Indeed, Facebook groups, your personal social media, your business social media. Ask your friends and family to post on their social medias. Put flyers up around your city at grocery stores, at gas stations, on bulletin boards, wherever. You can even run ads on Facebook and Instagram saying you're hiring. That's something we do for some of our clients and partners, and that one does really well. Your job post should be very simple. You're looking for a detailer, you're hiring for a detailer. Tell them about some of the physical stuff they have to do, like, hey, this is not an easy job. You're gonna be working outside, etc. And you're gonna be working with your hands. Explain to them as well that they don't need to have any prior experience with detailing. You'll provide them training on it, and I'll touch more on that in a second. After that, you have your interview process. You're looking for people who exhibit signs of being responsible, well-spoken, and organized, and people that have great energy. I call this being a great human. I don't care if someone is a good detailer or not, because I can train them on that very quickly. There are hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that do detailing, that learn it without going to college, without getting an education, without any of that stuff. Now, I know there are some detailers out there that love to overcomplicate what they do with techniques and all those different things, and how they're specialists, and I'm all for that. I love that, right? You should definitely be passionate about what you do, and you should think no one can do it as good as you. But that you shouldn't let that stop you from hiring, because it doesn't serve you well to think that only you can do it and no one can do it as good as you. Because if you want to go far in business, you have to learn how to hire and train people, especially in service companies. So you either believe no one can do it as good as you and you stay small forever, or you learn to hire like every other company on earth. So I want people who are good humans in my interview and recruiting process. I want people that are organized, show up on time, and will take care of my company and are responsible. I can train someone how to detail in a week, but I can't train them how to be a good, responsible human being in a week. That usually takes years or a whole lifetime to learn. If the person can't detail, I can fix that in a week. If they're a slop, I can't fix that in a week. I'm looking at how they show up on the interview as well, and I'm looking at their previous work history. Are they job hopping every few months? How do they present themselves? Is this someone I trust talking to my customers? If you don't get the best first impressions on the interview, the chances are how they perform and how they behave on the actual job is only gonna be worse. The best impression someone makes is usually their first impression. As time progresses and you guys get more comfortable working with each other, I've never seen it get better. I've only ever seen it stay the same or go down a little bit. Think about it. If someone is serious about their work and getting the job, they will do as much as humanly possible to leave an amazing first impression. And if their first impression isn't an amazing one, I usually haven't seen it get better. From the interview process, I test out the people that I think would do the best. And those people, I do a test out with them. For the test out, I pay them a small hourly rate, which brings me to step number 2, which is your onboarding process. Your onboarding process is how you get employees up to speed in your company. Good onboarding processes are in depth, to where someone with no experience, think of your 5-year-old cousin, can do nothing but just watch the content and read the content you have in your onboarding process, maybe take a few quizzes, do some interactive trainings, and next thing you know, they can fully do the job. That's a perfect extreme example of a solid onboarding process. A bad onboarding process requires tons of manual inputs in your or someone else's personal time to train someone up to speed on the job. Again, in a perfect extreme, you hire someone, they watch hours of content, you have quizzes they go through, and then at the end, you or someone else role play certain real life scenarios that would happen on the job. And then when they show up for you to test them out, that person already understands 90% of what to do. And you're just making real-time adjustments to their technique and how to do things to be efficient. That's it. You want to use content to do all the repetitive training. That way you have a scalable onboarding process. Anytime you want to hire someone new, you don't have to go spend 5 hours explaining to them, how do you use the vacuum? What's your process? What order do you detail stuff? You want to just have a video library training series they can go through and understand all that stuff A to Z in depth before they even get to the first job site. So you can make a whole video sequence and then you can upload this to a platform like School, which is $9 a month, or you can even just use Google Drive and just have a library of training content. In the training series, you want to take them through step by step what every tool does, what every chemical does, what order you do stuff in, from when you take the equipment out of the vehicle to how you set up and turn everything on, to what part of the car you work on first, in what order you detail the car. Everything is in depth A to Z. If a customer says this, how to upsell people on certain things when you see certain problems, you want to have all that in depth someone can watch that you can train them on. Pretend your 5-year-old cousin was your first hire and they knew nothing. You want to go that level in depth. You want to have this in video format and written content. These are called your SOPs, or standard operating procedures. A good test to know if your SOPs are in depth enough is to follow it yourself. Just follow it step by step exactly as you made it. If you get the exact outcome with every single step that you want, then you did a good job. If you don't get the result you want, then you know you need to make tweaks or add more detail. Back to the test outs. If they're committed and motivated, they went through your whole onboarding process. If you can tell they didn't watch stuff and they told you they did, you're already off to a bad start. If they're lying to you on one of your first interactions, as you get more comfortable with each other, they're probably only gonna lie to you as time progresses. So you're not off to a good start. And they're probably not going to be the best hire. You will lose a lot of people on this step, and that's perfectly fine. Most people aren't people who you want to hire in your business. And it's not because they're bad people, you guys just aren't a good fit. It's like marriage. Most people aren't going to be a good fit for you to marry, and that's totally fine. You're just looking for that one person. When I interview someone, I'm looking for reasons to disqualify them. They have to prove to me why I should hire them and why I should trust them to be a part of my business. The more friction, steps, and hoops I have to make candidates jump through, the more it weeds out the people who aren't serious about the role. I want to spend as little time as possible talking to unserious candidates. And having all this documentation in place in the form of SOPs makes me seem like a way more professional business owner and my business as a way more legitimate, real business. Which for many of you, if you're hiring for the first time, if you don't have these steps in place, your employees sometimes won't necessarily respect the opportunity as well as they would if you did. How serious you take your hiring process is how serious others will take it. If you just allow anybody to work for you willy-nilly just because you guys hit it off on the interview, that means it's not easy to work for your company and people aren't going to take it as serious. After you test out a few people, pick the one or two you think did the best. I'm looking for coachability and how well they take feedback. When I tell them, hey, don't do this or do this thing this specific way, I'm looking to see how well do they actually implement the feedback I give them. If they don't make any change after I ask them multiple times, that's probably what it's going to be like working with them and giving them feedback if I hired them. Because remember, people are usually on their best behavior on the interview in the first couple weeks of you working with them. Now, if you want more help when it comes to getting more clients or getting more employees in your detailing company, I want you to click the button below this video to apply to work with us on a free trial. We guarantee to set up profitable advertising for you within the first 5 days. It's the same system we've used to take over 250 detailers past $10,000 a month and help to take a couple dozen people past $50,000 a month. So what I want you to do is click the button below this video, apply for our 5-day trial. Step number 3 is managing and leading. Now that you've hired them, your job is to be an effective leader and manager. You need to tie back what their goals are in life to them doing this job. You actually want to give a deep crap about what they want to achieve in their life and give them a clear path to reaching that through working with you and in your business. The more you give a crap about your employees, the more likely they are to actually give a crap about you and your business. Maybe they want to save up a certain amount of money so they can buy a house. Give a deep crap about what their goals are. Understand why are they actually working here. Maybe they want to be able to provide a way better life for their kids, put them through school. Understand what that is specifically for them and create a path to where they can achieve what they're looking for. One of the best way I found to do that is by giving them a bigger percentage on upsells on clients and training them how to sell people. Because you can only pay an employee so much without ruining your profit margins. So what you want to do is you want to create the opportunity for that employee to upsell clients, add more revenue to the business and get a percentage of that. So now they bring in more money into the business, and as a result, they're also making more money. If you pay them, let's say 30 to 35% of a base job, pay them 50% of upsells. Offer 50 or 60% on upsells. Now they're more incentivized to bring in more upsells. And then provide sales training for them to get as many upsells on possible. Do the math with them on upsells as well on how much additional they can actually make. If you get them 10 clients a week on their regular schedule and they upsell 4 of those a week into a $200 add-on package, and from that they get 50%, they're making an extra $1,600 a month, 400 times 4. Work with them to improve their sales ability so that way they can work towards these goals, so they can maximize their income and the amount of money they bring into the company. Your compensation structure is super important as well. Don't pay your guys hourly. It's the worst thing you could do. Pay them as a percentage of sales. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late business partner, who happens to own the 5th largest company in America, Berkshire Hathaway, said the first rule of management is getting the incentives right. When you pay hourly, they're incentivized to take as long of a job as possible. The longer they take, the more money they make as an employee. They don't make more money if they do a good job, upsell people, or if they do more jobs. They simply just get paid for their time and just doing the bare minimum so you don't fire them. So it's not shocking when they don't behave the way you want them to behave. Pay them per job. You want to align their compensation structure so they do the behaviors that make the business the most money, which is doing as many jobs as possible in a day, doing a high quality job with every single client, and maximizing the amount of upsells they do. So you want to pay them per job, and they can move as fast as they want. This allows you to fit more work on their schedule, which helps the company make more money. So if they finish all their jobs by 4 p.m. and they can fit another job from the weekend on that day, and you call the client up and the client's okay with it, boom, now you can put another customer in that slot. You increase the amount of money your company made in that specific day. And now they made more money as well. It's a win-win. Now the downside to that is you may get them moving way too fast and not incentivizing for quality. So here's the guardrail you have to put in place. If you get a call back saying, hey, the job wasn't done right, they have to go back and fix it for free. Otherwise, they don't get paid for the job. So now you have a quality check. So now they're moving as fast as possible, but they're not skipping steps and leaving room for errors on quality assurance, because they know in the back of their head they have to go fix that job for free. No one wants to go out there and do that. So now you've incentivized for quality and speed, which is what the business wants and you want. The last thing is you want to incentivize them for upsells. Think about it. If you pay them hourly and they make no more money if they upsell someone, why the hell would they go out and upsell people? It's the worst thing you could do. Pay them a larger percent on upsells. If they make 30% on the base job, pay them 40, 50, or 60% on the upsells. And now, after you've made those 3 changes to their compensation structure, they're doing more jobs in a day with higher quality, and they're trying to upsell as many customers as possible for as much money as possible. So now they're adding way more revenue into the company. Now, if you found this was valuable and you want to work with my team directly to help you take your detailing business to $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month, you really have 2 choices. You can go spend the next few years making all the mistakes, implementing marketing and hiring systems into your business on your own, or my team can take you there in a few weeks. Just like we took Andrew Collins with South Shore Mobile Detailing from $2,000 to $14,000 a month in just 1 month. Now, I want to implement these same systems into your business, and I want to guarantee that you're profitable from week 1 of you working with us. So I want to invite you to take our 5-day trial. You just have to pay for ad spend during the 5-day trial. We'll help you get an additional 5 clients through profitable advertising. Click the button below this video. I'll see you on the other side.